Donovan Mitchell is having a 40-piece McNugget meal. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to At the Office. I'm flying solo tonight, no co-host, just me. And honestly, I have never wanted my partner here more in my life because what a game. The Cleveland Cavaliers just dominated the Detroit Pistons 112-103 right here at home. And this series is tied up at 2 games apiece now. Let's go. Before we get into it, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and if you want, give us a call, leave us a voicemail, and we'll play it on the air. That number is 216-260-3433. We want to hear from you tonight, especially because Cavs fans have got to be feeling themselves right now. I know I am for sure. So let's just get this started. Exactly where the game ended up being decided tonight, and that is one Donovan Mitchell. 43 points on that Monday night. Frankly, it's a must-win game in front of our home crowd, because if they had lost this one and went down 3-1, I think it would have been over. But instead, he got it done, gave us something to believe in. And here's the thing, like, first half, Mitch was quiet, like suspiciously quiet. 4 points at the half, 4. And you know, I know like fans were getting anxious. I know I was. Where was he? We needed him. I've questioned what's going on with Spida, because if we're being honest, he just has not looked himself in either of these 2 series, really. He's just been a little lackadaisical, and Detroit was doing a decent job of making things difficult. Don't get me wrong, but Donovan just wasn't finding his rhythm. And here's the thing about superstars. We talked about this a little bit. Like actual superstars, they don't need the whole game. They just need their moment. And apparently Mitch felt that too, because he said it himself that he apologized to the teammates, his teammates at half, said he wasn't giving them what they needed. And then he walked out of the locker room in the second half and put up 39 points. And I've said this the other night on the show, a true superstar, he could take over a playoff game. That's the separator. That's what makes great ones different. And we hadn't seen it from Mitch yet in these playoffs, frankly. And there were some rumblings. There was some doubt. I doubted him. I'll admit it. I doubted him. I questioned whether or not he was a superstar. And he silenced every single bit of that. So I'll just say it. I was wrong. My apologies to Donovan. Doesn't change those games. But he showed us that he is a true superstar, and he did what it took tonight to get it done. Cleveland came out of halftime down 4, went on a 23-0 run to open the third quarter, 23-0 run. That's the largest run in Cavs playoff history and largest run to open a half in the NBA since 1998. They were feeling it second half. The building was losing its mind. I was losing my mind. I think that Mitchell had 21 in the third quarter alone, which tied Kyrie Irving for most points in a Cavs playoff quarter. And then that number, of course, that just about made me fall out of my seat, the 39 second half points, tying the NBA record for most points ever scored in a single playoff half. That was set by Sleepy Floyd. 1987, Sleepy Floyd. And Grant Hill said it best. He said it was a pleasure to witness greatness. I don't have anything to add to that, to be honest. That's the Donovan Mitchell that I wanted to see the whole time. That's the guy right there. And we questioned it. And honestly, I wasn't seeing that. None of us were. But we all knew he had it in him because we've seen it before, right? And he showed up. He showed up and he showed out. Now, before Mitchell, when he had that quiet first half, somebody else had to keep the lights on, and I'm going to give credit where it's due. James Harden was cooking early. 3 threes in the first quarter, 8 points before like 10 minutes. Obviously, he was getting it done. He forced a timeout by Detroit. Harden ended up with 24, 11 assists, double-double before the fourth quarter even started. So he came to play. And in the first half especially, he kept us within striking distance while Donovan Mitchell was a little lost, or I guess finding his footing. I shouldn't say he was lost. I think we all as Cavs fans have had complicated feelings about Harden in this series, these last two series. Credit to him tonight. He showed up when the team needed him. Without that first half from Harden, this is probably a different game. It probably looks really different. And frankly, he cleaned up the turnovers. That was the biggest thing. That's what everyone wanted to see from James Harden. He cleaned up the turnovers, and that was the biggest difference so far. I mean, when we play clean basketball, and we won that turnover margin, when we play clean basketball, we're tough to beat. We are really tough to beat. Now, I want to talk about the defense, and we've got some things to get into there. But first, let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsor. At the Office is brought to you by Rambler Reserve.
And we're wearing the hats right now.
We are wearing the hats right now, and honestly, this might be one of the best looking things I've put on my head in years.
Rambler Reserve is a Cleveland apparel brand based on history for people who love this city and just can't shut up about it.
So us?
Us, exactly. Whether it be hats, tees, hoodies, you're going to the game, or you're going to the Muni lot. It's perfect apparel for any Cleveland fan out there.
If your friends say you ramble too much about sports, just own it. Head on over to ramblerreserve.com and use code ATO10 to get 10% off your order.
That's ATO10. ATO like at the office 10, ramblerreserve.com.
Now, before I get into the defense, make sure you head on over to ramblerreserve.com, grab some merch. I'm wearing the hat right now. The link will be in the description, but this stuff is so cool. Like, I love this hat. I've been wearing it all the time. So make sure you head on over there and pick up some things yourself. Now, let's get to the defense. The Cavs defense tonight finally looked what we know that they're capable of, right? And it's not like they play great defense throughout the year, don't get me wrong, but we know that this team can clamp down and play defense when they need to, and that's what was so frustrating in those first couple games. Obviously, we talked turnover battle. Cleveland won that tonight. The games that they've lost, those two games, obviously turnovers were a killer. You can't give this young, athletic Detroit team extra possessions and expect to win. Tonight, we are disciplined. We stayed decisive. And honestly, we talked about that. Like, I feel like that's focus and that's coaching. I don't want to put too much on Kenny and say that terrible defense is all him, especially when you see players just frankly not playing defense. But they got it right tonight. And the game plan on Cade Cunningham, I think it was pretty clear, like, make other people beat us, force role players into tough decisions, bad shots, bad moments. Cade still got his, don't get me wrong. He finished with 19, but we limited him when we had to. And when you take away their star, someone else is going to have to step up. Well, step up they did, because tonight, somebody the Cavs know well, former Cavalier Caris LeVert, did just that. 24 points off the bench. Come on. Like, let's be honest. Have we ever seen Caris LeVert play like that? Not here, not anywhere, not when he was in wine and gold, that's for sure. I mean, he was fine. He was like a serviceable piece for us, but he was never that guy. Never did he have a night that I can recall where you looked at him and you're just like, he can't miss. And tonight, especially in the first half, that was him. Maybe it's something playing against his old team. I mean, he's doing it in a playoff game that matters, so good for him, I guess. Bad for us in the moment, but we contained everybody else enough that those other weapons, we could live with LeVert going off. It's weird. Sometimes a guy just has your number on any given night, sort of thing. You tip your cap, you move on. Like, congrats, Caris. Didn't matter in the end, but just a weird showing. I do want to talk too about Dean Wade. Look, I respect the defense, so I want to start there, and I understand why he's been in the starting lineup. His ability to guard multiple positions, his length, his effort. He does have effort. I get it. I do. But offensively, he's giving nothing. And I'm so tired of watching him in the starting five when the offense is stalling and he cannot give us any juice. Like, literally, we go down the court and he's wide open. Nobody passes him the ball because they don't want him taking a shot. And I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I did see that at one point tonight, and don't get me wrong, like I'll pump the brakes. The defense was good tonight, and Wade is obviously a part of that fabric. So, maybe I just need to accept who he is and be grateful. Stay in your lane kind of situation. But man, some nights I just need like more than 0 buckets or 3 points, or I don't even know what he had. But I mean, come on, man. Like, come on. I love you, but come on. All right, so let's step back and talk about this series because we're tied at 2-2 officially, 2 games apiece. And what does that mean? I don't want to get too high because we'll talk about the elephant in the room in a second. But the Cavs did go on that 23-0 run. They were in a all but must-win game. I mean, that's a must-win game. And they got it done. The Pistons, I mean, they came in, they got to be feeling themselves. They're young, they're up 2-1. They were controlling these games, the games that we lost. But the Cavs reminded them tonight that the series is not over at 2-1, and it's not theirs, certainly. But here's the thing. I said the elephant in the room, so I won't dance around it anymore. Game 5's in Detroit, and the Cavs have not won a single road playoff game this year. Not one. They are a perfect 6-0 at home and 0-5 on the road. First of all, that's crazy. Second of all, that has to change. At some point in a playoff run, you have to be able to win away from your building. Wednesday night, that's the moment, because I think we need to take Game 5. We don't need to, but I certainly want to. I don't want to go to a Game 7. We take Game 5. That makes Game 6 at home a hell of a lot easier. It puts Detroit on their heels. Obviously, their home court advantage isn't going away. It's a best-of-3 series now. But I don't want to have 2 in their building. I want to have 1 in their building and finish it up back home at Rocket. And they're going to have to figure something out on the road because, I mean, let's be honest. Donovan Mitchell's got to carry that same energy he had in the second half of tonight. Whether or not they can do that, I mean, after what I watched, I think they can. I don't see why not, but, as the saying goes, talk is cheap, and we'll learn a lot on Wednesday. We'll see what this Cavs team is actually made of. They've got to win on the road. Obviously, this series and a potential Eastern Conference Finals would be played without home court advantage, as would likely a finals series, so they've got to figure that out. But now we see it. We see the blueprint. We know that they can win, and let's just see if they go out there and show us. A couple other shout outs. Our big men played well tonight. Also, I don't want to leave them out. When they're playing aggressive and playing with energy, we talked about it. It is hard to stop them. Overall, I mean, I'm very happy with that performance. By the way, the ending there where they had to put the starters back in because our bench was giving up so many turnovers and so many points quickly that we're like, uh-oh, we might actually lose this thing. It wasn't actually in danger, but they wanted to avoid that. That's pretty crazy. So I guess keep your starters in until the end. Noah missed a great one tonight, but hopefully we can wrap this series up while he's out on vacation and be back here talking Eastern Conference Finals once he's home. Make sure you leave us that voicemail, 216-260-3433. We'll play it on the next show. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit that like button. Share it with a Cavs fan who needs their evening made. The debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.